All right, everybody, welcome to Carb Cycling with me. My name is Crystal Cholewa, and I'll be teaching you guys some carb cycling lessons. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If you guys will join, hopefully on your phones, you can go to nearpod.com and you're going to enter this code right here, YRSSD. And today I'm going to teach you how to do something called carb cycling. Now, there are lots of different diets out there. Keto is the one that seems to be the most popular, and it works really well. I just think it's, or for a lot of people that I've heard try it, I can't do keto because I need carbs or I get very angry, get very hangry. So keto works well if you need to drop a lot of weight, and if it's more of a short-term goal, keto's not a really good idea to do it for the long term. Okay. So carb cycling is kind of like keto, but it's keto every other day. And so it's much more manageable. I've seen great results. I've shown probably over 100 people how to do this. And so the results have been really outstanding from what I've seen. So that's what we'll learn today. So this was from the video with Bedros, but let's see if you guys remember. I don't know if you saw it again or if you saw, I guess it's the answer not. It's still on our website, it's still up there. So you're welcome to see it. But let's see if you guys remember what these 4 F's are. While you do that, I'm going to mute. See if anybody remembers. And Ruby, I'm not sure if you knew about this video, but on our website, I stick a video on there. It's about a 20-minute video from one of my mentors that I admire a lot. His name is Bedros. And he did a video on the 4 F's. All right, Tara, you remember, so I'm really happy with it.
No, I haven't seen it. Is it in the group chat?
It's on the website. So if you
on the website?
Yeah, there's a YouTube video on there. I also put the fruit.
Sorry, but I'm just like, what is it?
Fruit is a great carb.
I love it. All right, so it's definitely family. It's definitely faith. You guys got those. Anybody else remember it all?
It's not fun? No.
So it's finance. And then fitness.
Oh, okay, okay.
So fitness, faith, family, finance. Those are the 4 F's that he believes we really need to focus in our lives. And if we, oh, there's Jasmine. If we focus on those, we'll be in a much better place. So I really like his videos. The one I shared is one of my favorites. I'm also going to include one for the confidence one when I do the confidence to teach. Anybody's confident is that man, right? It's pretty awesome. Okay. Very good. So let's move on. All right. So also on the website was this sheet that you could have downloaded and printed. If you did not, that's okay. If you have a sheet of paper, because I want you guys to walk out of this with an actual plan that you could follow with foods that you like. It's not going to be any weird, one of those. It's not like tuna and grapefruit every day, every meal. Nothing like that. It's actual food that you like, that you get to pick out. And so I'd like you to walk away with this already filled out. So if you printed it out, that's great. If you didn't, if you could just get a sheet of paper, write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday across the top. Write breakfast, morning snack, lunch, afternoon snack, and dinner down the bottom. And then make some squares and be really, really quick. So I'd really like you guys to walk away with the completed. Yeah, Jessica's here.
No Sunday?
No Sunday because Sunday's a free day. And you get to splurge on Sunday. And that's what else I like about this way of eating. I'm not going to call it a diet. Oh, yay, Yvonne's joining us. Woohoo! We'll have fun. More fun with more people. That's how I feel when I give class too. And there's only like 2 people for my cycling class. And I'm like, ugh. But then it's like a full 13 people class. BTW, you guys still owe me a cycling.
Yes, absolutely. You have no idea. I am so down. Cycling is so hard.
Yeah, it was so, I gave it Monday and it also did, and then the boot camp that I gave Wednesday, oh my goodness, that was so much fun too. That was really neat. All right, so for those of you joining us, Miss Jessica, Miss Jasmine, and Miss Yvonne, welcome. I'm so glad to have you guys here.
Thank you for being late.
Thank you.
I had asked you guys if you could, on your desktop, do the Zoom, and on your phone, if you have, or an extra tablet or anything, if you can go to Nearpod, you do not need to download the app. You just have to just go to nearpod.com, and then it's gonna, somewhere it should allow you to put in a code, and the code is this right here, YRSNZ, and it's just to make it a little more interactive. Okay. Thank you. And so we had started by, on the website, there's a video by Bedros Keuilian, and it's a really short 20-minute video, but it talks about the 4 F's, and he defines the 4 F's as family, finance, fitness, and see, now I think fruit. Thanks a lot, Diane.
Sorry.
And it was family, finance, fitness, faith. It was faith. So it's a really neat video, and it's not too long if you guys want to see that. And then also on the website is this sheet that you can download and print, because I want you to walk away with this with a full meal plan that you could follow, and foods that you like to eat, and it's awesome. So if you did not download this and print it out, if you can just get a sheet of paper and write the days of the week on the top, and then breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner down to the left. And we're gonna fill this in. All right, so moving on. So I like to begin this whole thing with setting a SMART goal. And I know most of you have probably heard of SMART goals, right? They're specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And I like for people to put them on 3 Post-its. And I like people to put that goal that they wrote on the 3 Post-its, the same goal on all 3 Post-its, around different parts of the house. So this lecture, this webinar, whatever you want to call it, is basically so that it's basically to help you lose weight. If you're looking to lose about, I mean, anywhere from 10 pounds to 100 pounds. I helped this man lose 70 pounds. He lost it pretty quickly. So it really is for weight loss. And the SMART goal has to be something that you write that is specific, but it's also attainable. So that 70 pounds that that man lost was amazing, but it's not very realistic, especially for female, and especially in a time frame of about 3 months. It's best to lose about 2 pounds a week. And so in about 3 months, how much do you think you can lose? 20 pounds is a pretty good goal, right? So on the goal, you can even set it, I know during this whole COVID time, it's hard, but a lot of times I like to say if you have a wedding coming up or someone's birthday coming up or the summer coming up where you want to fit into a bathing suit nicely, that could be the time frame that you want. So on the Post-it, you can write in 3 months, my goal is to lose 20 pounds. And I want you to write this goal and on the Post-it and put the Post-it in 3 different places where you're constantly going to be seeing it so that you complete your goal. Because a lot of times we set a goal, we forget it, right? So I like to tell people, take out a pair of pants that maybe hasn't fit you in a while, put the Post-it on there and put it somewhere where you can see it every day. Stick it on the fridge whenever you're going to go and grab that snack that you should probably be getting. Just put it all around the places where you're going to see it. So would anybody like to share their SMART goal? And of course, this is completely up to you. It can be very personal, so you don't have to share it. If anybody would like to share it, let me know what your goals are. And just so I can have an idea too of what your goals are.
Well, as far as like my eating habits and fitness, I definitely want to get back to the gym and I want to start eating healthier because in the quarantine, I really ate horribly.
Okay. And so like Ruby's a perfect example because Ruby, your weight is perfect. I mean, goodness. But if your goal is to eat a little bit better, then that's your goal right there. And this will help you do that as well. And it's not like you're going to, drop a bunch of weight, because we wouldn't want you to drop a bunch of weight. I think you're the perfect weight, but it will help you feel better, less brain fog, less lethargy. You'll have more energy and just feel a lot better. So that would be your goal in eating better. So be healthy. I like to do it because I will sometimes not eat very healthy and I'll feel very bloated. Oh, I hate feeling bloated. And so when I carb cycle and I follow this closely, I feel like someone sticks a pin in my side and just kind of lets out all the air that's there. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and move on. So this is the whole Bible right here. This is the whole idea of what this carb cycling is. And I did get this from a book that I read called Choose More, Lose More. And so I want you to look at this and tell me what stands out at you.
What I can see is that a lot of it is protein and carbs combined. So every time you have a protein, you usually have a carb. And it seems like, I guess, you balance that out with protein and fat.
Okay, good. So if you notice then, at every single meal, you have a protein. And then you're going to combine it with either a fat or a carb. But at every meal has a protein. What else do you notice?
I noticed the breakfast within 30 minutes of waking. I've never heard of that. That's interesting.
Yeah. So in the book, he really goes into that, because when you wake up, you fasted all night long. Your body's thirsty, but your body's also hungry. So in this way of eating, ideally you eat 30 minutes of waking up. That's rather hard for me to do because I have breakfast here at the gym. And so I get to the gym about an hour and a half after I wake up. But I make my smoothie here and I make my pancakes here. So this one is a little harder for me. It was easier for me when I was a teacher and I made my breakfast at home. But the idea is that as soon as you wake up, your body needs that fuel. And so you want to eat about 30 minutes before or after waking up. So yeah, so let's get into the three main things of this chart. Is one, that you're eating 5 times a day. You're eating every 4 hours. Let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10. Every 3 hours. You're eating every 3 hours. The other thing you should notice is that you have these low carb days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And you have these high carb days, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And if you look at the low carb days, that's when you're combining a protein and a fat. When you look at your high carb days, that's when you're combining a protein and a carb. But if you notice for breakfast every day, whether it's a low carb day or a high carb day, you're combining a protein and a carb, no matter what, for breakfast. So the other thing you should notice are these hands. And that's going to be your portion size. So portion control is important, but it's not, you don't have to weigh out your food. Now, with the meals we sell here, I weigh them out, but that's more food. So we're not just eyeballing stuff, right? But the protein that you're eating should be about the size of the palm of your hand. When you have carbs, they should be about the size of your, when you make a fist. And this is also ideal because, let's say, for men and women, men are bigger, they need more calories, and their hands are bigger, usually. So they're gonna have to eat a little bit more. Now, in the book, it stresses how important it is to eat. A lot of times we want to not eat so that we can lose weight. But when we do that, we're starving our body. So when we finally eat, our body stores all that food instead of burning it. So the importance here is to make sure you are consuming enough calories so that you have the energy to burn it. That's the other thing I like about this versus keto, is that with keto, a lot of times if you follow very strict keto, you're not going to have the energy to exercise, and it's actually recommended that you don't exercise. So when you're following a strict keto diet, well, I think exercise is super important, especially for my mental health. So I like that with this way of eating, you can exercise. The other thing I want to point out here is this Sunday. It's a guilt-free day. And so for me especially, if I tell myself you're not going to eat chocolate, I crave it. I crave it like crazy. And when I finally let myself have it, I binge eat it. And I know this about myself. So what I like is that Sunday, you can enjoy it on Sunday. So if I start craving something, I can just tell myself, look, I can enjoy it on Sunday. And it kind of helps curb that craving. All right. So any questions on this? And we're going to come back to this, but I just wanted to do the overall view. Any questions? Nope. Okay. Let's move on.
What was the lesson code? Oh, it's there. Thank you. Okay.
The lesson code? Oh, yes. Ma'am. All right. So let's get into what are nutrients. So we're all STEM people for the most part, so we know this, right? Essential substances that your body needs. Sorry. That your body needs in order to grow and stay healthy. So we're going to go over each one of these things, right? So proteins build muscle. Carbs are what give you energy. Fat gives you extra energy. Vitamins and minerals are really important to regulate body processes. And of course, we need lots and lots of water. What do you think is very important that's missing from here? Any ideas?
Maybe, like, I mean, I guess maybe this would go into vitamins and minerals, but like greens or vegetables or something.
Okay, so that would be carbs, because well, not the starches, but the fiber. But yeah, so fiber is kind of missing from here. That's good.
Okay.
What I think is sleep. Sleep is so important, so very important. It helps repair the body. If you're not getting enough sleep, like I know if I don't get enough sleep, I cannot drop weight. It doesn't happen. And then stress. You have to be careful with your stress. You have to find ways to manage that stress, because stress will be another thing that will help you gain weight. So stress and sleep are two things you also need to be aware of. All right, so yay, science part. This is my favorite part. So carbohydrates, what are carbs? So this is the coolest thing that I didn't learn until I was a teacher. Carbohydrate. Carb is carbon, right? And hydrate, we know hydrate is water. So if you look at carbohydrates, they all have this ratio right here. 1 carbon to 2 hydrogen to 1 oxygen. Get it? Carbohydrate. Isn't that cool? I didn't know that till like recently. So if you look at all the different types of carbohydrates, these are going to be your simple sugars. But glucose, ribose, sucrose, they all have this ratio of 1 carbon to 2 hydrogens to 1 oxygen. Okay? So and a lot of the carbohydrates end in ose, like ribose, glucose, sucrose. So glucose is the most basic one. And where do we get glucose from? Anybody?
Is
What was the
glucose
question?
sugar?
Where do we get it though?
Fruit?
But where does the fruit get it from?
Carbs turn to sugar, no?
Plants. Brennan back here. He was 2 years old, and I'd be like, Brennan, what do plants go through? And he was the cutest little 2-year-old that would say, photosynthesis. So plants use the sunlight to go through photosynthesis, and that's how they make sugar. They make glucose. Very good. Yeah, Brennan's already enjoying. All right, so here's glucose. Now let's move on real quick. Why do we need carbs? Well, we need them for energy. It's basically our short-term energy. And plants need them for structure. Their cell walls are made up of sugars. And then in animals, the exoskeleton, which, like a bug, when you smash it, you hear the that's made of sugar. It's a source of carbon for all our other molecules. And then this is more sciencey, but it has surface markers for cell identification. So let's go over simple and complex carbs. Now, a lot of people confuse these. They say like sugar is a simple carb, but they think like cereal is a simple carb. Well, it's really not, because cereals are going to be your complex carbs because they have polysaccharides. So if we look at this structure right here, this is glucose, okay? It is a monosaccharide. Mono means one, and if you look, it's just one ring. Now, when you put 2 of these monosaccharides together, you get a disaccharide. And maltose, sucrose, and lactose are examples of disaccharides. Where have you heard of lactose from?
Milk.
And then what do people do when they eat ice cream and then they have to run to the bathroom? No, I think you guys know, you're just muted. So they're lactose intolerant, right? And that comes, and thank God I'm not, because I love ice cream. I would cry if I were lactose intolerant. But that happens sometimes later as you get older, you become lactose intolerant. So monosaccharide is just one. Disaccharide is when you have two of these put together. A polysaccharide is when you have a bunch of glucose molecules put together. And there are 4 different types of polysaccharides. There's starch, glycogen, cellulose, and cellulose are the fibers. So I want you to look at this picture right here, okay? So see this yellow one? This is gonna be starch. So each little one of these yellow circles is one of these glucose molecules. So when plants make their glucose for photosynthesis, they store it as starch. And this is what it looks like. Now, this purple one, this is called glycogen. And this is how we store our sugar. Now, each one of these purple things is, again, one of these glucose molecules, okay? And so it's called glycogen. And notice the difference between starch and glycogen. What is it? What do you guys see as a difference?
There's a lot more
Glycogen
glucose
has
molecules.
branch.
Right. So if you look at glycogen, it has a bunch of branches. Now, each branch stores more energy. That's why it's branched. So why would we need more energy than plants do?
We're mobile.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we store our energy as glycogen. Now, if you look at this one right here, this green one, this is cellulose. And we know cellulose is fiber. So if we stand up straight, it's because of our bone structure that allows us to stand up straight, right? Well, plants don't have bones, but around every single one of their cells, they have a cell wall. And their cell walls are made up of cellulose. And that's what helps them stand up straight. Well, that cellulose is what we eat and break down as fiber. So this is fiber right here. Now this blue one is called chitin, and that's what makes up the exoskeletons of bugs. So when you step on them and you hear that crunchy sound, that's this chitin right here. Okay, so it's also a polysaccharide. All right, so any questions about carbs and what they look like and the different kinds? We'll get into this just a little bit more. Okay, so this is where we're going to get ideas of what to eat. I'm going to show you this slide a little later also, but I just want you, thank you. I just want you to look at it real quick. So a lot of diets have these crazy foods that one, you wouldn't even know where to buy, but the reason I like this way of eating so much is because it's all things that we eat. So things that have a lot of carbs are going to be your tortillas, muffins, whole grain bread, different cereals. Now these cereals are the ones that are recommended because they don't have that much sugar. So Reese's Puffs isn't in here, sorry guys. Fruity Pebbles, sorry, not part of this. But we have these are really good cereals. You have granola, oatmeal, steel cut oatmeal, bran, brown rice, quinoa, wild rice, beans, lentils. You have different pastas. You have your root vegetables. You have the starchy vegetables, which are your corn and peas. All your fruits are carbs. And then take a look at these veggies. These are all your green veggies that are going to have a lot more cellulose than they do starch. So because they have a lot more cellulose, they don't really count. I say they're free because you can actually have them with every meal. You don't just need to have them on a carb day. You can have them on a low carb day also because they don't have a lot of starchy carbs. They have the fiber kind of carbs. Okay. So we'll come back to this in a second. All right, let's talk about lipids. What are lipids? Those are your fats and oils and waxes and stuff. So they're also made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, just the way carbs are. But look at their structure. It's not a ring structure. These are long chains, okay? And they are hydrophobic, which means they don't dissolve in water. So when you mix oil and water, they don't mix, right? Because they're something called, well, hydrophobic, I was looking for nonpolar, sorry. So they're nonpolar, and that's a whole other lesson that I'd love to get into, but just, I guess, not now. So there are two types of fatty acids. There's saturated, which looks like this, and there's unsaturated. And I know you guys have been told one of them's good and one of them's bad. Do you guys remember which one's good and which one's not so good? Or which one's bad and which one's not so bad? Nobody knows?
The good one is unsaturated.
Very good. Do you know why, Miss Iman?
The saturated will block your veins. That's all I know.
Oh, that's excellent. That's perfect. So if you look at these saturated means every single carbon has a hydrogen attached to it. So it's fully saturated and it's a straight chain. So these little suckers flow through your blood vessels And because they're straight, your body has a hard time breaking them up, and they get stuck to the walls of your arteries, making them nice and hard and thick. And there's where you get your clogged arteries and you get heart attacks and stuff. If you look at this unsaturated fatty acid, and this would be a monounsaturated because it just has this one right here. When you get polyunsaturated fatty acids, they're going to have more than one of these double bonds. Now, if you notice this double bond, it causes a kink in this molecule, a kink or a bend. And so now your body can process them a little better. It can break them down. And that's why unsaturated fatty acids are better. So where can we find each? Well, your fats are going to be the ones that are solid at room temperature. So think of manteca, think of butter. They're more solid at room temperature. And so they contain saturated fatty acids. A lot of times these also are animal fats. Animal fats are going to be more solid at room temperature. And they're going to contain more saturated fatty acids. Now, if you look at oils, they're more plant-based, and they're going to have more unsaturated fatty acids, and you can tell because they're liquid at room temperature. So cholesterol is also a big thing. We hear of people that have high cholesterol. Why is that bad? Well, this is what cholesterol looks like. It's this 4-ring structure right here, so don't confuse it with a carb, because I told you carbs are ring structures. But this is a lipid that happens to be a ring structure. And if you look at this picture here, this is a cell membrane. So a cell membrane, remember, surrounds every single cell. And it's made up of these little phospholipids here. And these little yellow things are going to be cholesterol. Well, our body naturally makes cholesterol already. And what it's for is to make the cell membrane a little more rigid so that not just anything can flow through the cell. It makes it a little bit harder so that things actually have to go through a channel sometimes the way they're supposed to. But if we have too much cholesterol in there, it packs in this cell membrane a little too much, and it makes it really hard for nutrients and other things to enter and exit the way they're supposed to. So we need cholesterol, but our body already naturally makes it. So if we eat too much cholesterol, that's where it's a problem. So again, unsaturated fats are the healthier ones. So they're called the good fats, and they can be found in nuts and avocados. The saturated fats are going to be in your bacon, and this is why I disagree with keto, especially when they really push the bacon and the saturated fats. You should not eat that much saturated fat. I'm all for avocado and nuts and stuff and cheeses, but be careful with all that saturated fat. And then we have this trans fat, and that's what companies do to extend the shelf life of some foods, and they can be very bad for you as well. Okay, so these are going to be the foods that are healthy for you, that have a lot of fats, and we will come back to this when we make our diet, but I just want you to go through them real quick. So it's all your cheeses, even your sliced cheese and your string cheese would be here too. Egg yolks, heavy whipping cream, and then fruit. Don't confuse this with any kind of fruit. Avocado and olives are the two fruits that are high in fat. Okay? And then all your nuts and seeds and your almond butter, your peanut butter, walnuts, and then your flaxseed oil and olive oil. So that's good to cook with as well. So these are going to be your fats. All right, and then proteins. So proteins are what make you strong, right? They're made up of a few more atoms. So the other ones were made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. This is also made up of nitrogen, sulfur, and phosphorus. So amino acids are going to be the basic building blocks of your proteins. And there's 20 different types of amino acids. I used to be able to draw them all. So anyway, when these amino acids get put together, they make something called a polypeptide, and then you get some folding and some other stuff happen, and then you get the full protein. So why in the world do we need protein? Well, proteins are going to be the workers of your body. They're super duper important. So we've all heard of enzymes, especially like in the stomach where they help break down our food, right? So enzymes are proteins. We've heard a lot lately about antibodies, thanks to COVID. So antibodies are also proteins. Proteins are very important in structure. So the cytoskeleton is made up of proteins. Our hair, nails are made up of proteins. Our muscles, we have two little proteins that walk along each other, and that's what helps our muscles contract. Spider webs, silk, feathers, horns, hooves, all those things are made up of proteins. Some hormones, not all, but some hormones are proteins. The cell membrane has protein channels that are embedded inside that allow things to flow through. Hemoglobin that's in our blood, it's the one that carries the oxygen, so it's very important. So proteins are super duper important in our body, and so that's why at every meal you saw we need to eat protein. So what foods have protein? This is going to be all your meats. Okay? So all your different kinds of steak, beef, all your lean ground meats. And so when you're putting this together, make sure you buy as lean as you can on this. All your dairy, Greek yogurt, and also try to use plain non-fat Greek yogurt. I had a real hard time with it at first, but then you get used to it. All your poultry, these are your powdered proteins. So egg, it doesn't mean one egg, it means 1 scoop powdered egg. Who eats powdered egg? Not I, but just in case you do, there you go. You have salmon, sardines, tuna, all your white fish to include like pollock and tilapia. Some people don't like tilapia. I love tilapia. Clams, lobster, shrimp, tempeh, tofu, and your pork tenderloin. So this is all the recommended sources of protein.
Is there a substitute, a good protein substitute for meat?
What
I
do you
mean, what if you're a vegetarian or not where you just eat plant-based foods?
The vegan? Yeah, the vegan, so tofu I believe is vegan, and then I'll show you the carbs right now, but like your beans, your lentils, they do have more carbs than they do protein, but they're very high in protein. It's gonna be very close to it. So yeah, vegans, this is a little more difficult because the protein is very full of animal products here. But I know the tofu, and then I don't know what tempeh is. Anybody know what that is?
Yes, it's a soy-based product. So imagine like a lot of edamame soybeans, it's a mash of that, and then they season it like with liquid smoke or something. Yeah. I personally don't really like it, but that's what it is.
Yeah. So it would be difficult. It would be. But like I said, if you look at the actual nutrition content of beans and lentils and stuff, they are very high in protein, but they have a few more carbs than they do the protein. So you'd be stuck with a lot of. So no fish at all? Anything? Christiane?
Yeah, I'm just our oldest daughter is kind of sharing recipes and things like that for us to try to go vegan. Yeah, vegan, and it's been tough because I don't like tofu. So.
And then vegans, those you can't do dairy either, right? Am I right on that?
That's true.
Yeah, that'd be difficult.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's okay. We're trying.
Yeah.
Doing the best you can is the best.
Yeah.
If you're trying to shift, it's always do the best you can.
Thank you, Sarah, for saying.
You're welcome. No one's perfect. Nobody's a perfect vegan, so don't worry at all.
Yeah, that would be very difficult for me. Okay, so calories, we know that we need to try to limit our calories, right? And so what is a calorie, though? It's the energy obtained from carbs, proteins, and fats, and that's the unit where we measure it in. And so carbs, for every 1 gram of carbs, there's 4 calories. For every 1 gram of protein, there's 4 calories. But if you look at fat, every 1 gram of fat, there's 9 calories. And why does fat have to taste so good, guys? Why? Explain it. Actually, I think it's actually an evolution thing. I've heard or read or something that fat tasted good so that they could eat it because they needed to put on pounds back in the day. But we don't anymore. Okay, so here's that lovely Bible thing I told you again. So again, now we're going to make this meal plan. So we're not going to take too much longer, and well, it depends on how you continue this. And if you want to screenshot this or take a picture of this at all so you can reference back to it, that might be a good idea. So we're going to start with combining. I like to do the whole week for breakfast first. And breakfast, remember, you're going to combine a protein and a carb every single day, Monday through Saturday. Okay. So I want you to remember that these are the things that have a lot of protein. So on your chart, if you printed it out, if you didn't, and you're just writing this down, go ahead and write breakfast. And I'm going to give you things that I do for breakfast. Okay. So you don't have to be like me. You can change it however you like. Now that I have the gym and I do the meal preps, I do a shake that has spinach and some fruits in it, and then I have my protein pancakes. And the protein pancakes have egg whites, they have cottage cheese, they have protein powder, and then they have oatmeal, which is the carb. So those actually fit this meal plan perfectly. If you don't have time to do those, then before I used to do this, or before I had my protein pancakes, I would do things like 4 egg whites with spinach and tomatoes and mushrooms. And so those things were my carbs. Oopsie. So you're going to combine a blue with the green. So, or another thing you could do is oatmeal and in a protein shake. You could do eggs with some tortillas or eggs with toast. You could do cereal, but remember you need the protein. So you do cereal with a protein shake. So however you would like to combine your breakfast. Go ahead.
Can you go back to the portion with the hands, please? Yeah, let me take a picture just so that I know how big each one is. Thank you.
Okay. So any questions, or does anybody need help with making their breakfast choices?
I find that breakfast for me is hard because I don't like to cook it, and I eat it every day because I know it's healthy for you and good for you, but it's just creating something that's other than cereal or toast. I've been trying to venture into avocado in the morning. So if anybody has any suggestions, I've been trying to maybe do avocado toast. So I'm interested to see what everyone else does for the breakfast portion.
I think breakfast is a little bit, this is Sarah speaking, it's a little bit more difficult for me because the vast majority of those proteins on the protein list I don't really eat. What I do eat is, like tofu, and I eat seafood, but I don't really want to eat seafood in the morning, so I'm having a little bit of trouble forming a breakfast, but so far I have tofu scrambled with spinach and banana as the carb.
And Sarah, you're a vegan?
No, I'm not. I'm plant-based. I eat fish, but I stay away from dairy as much as possible. I eat eggs once in a while.
Okay. Well, just the way so the pancakes I make on Fridays, right? I make a lot, but that's what I eat during the week. So if some of you have a hard time with time-wise, you could definitely make pancakes on the weekend. And so it's a cup of everything. It's a cup of egg whites. It's a cup of oatmeal. It's a cup of cottage cheese, and then it's 1 scoop of protein powder. And I put it in a Ninja to get it really smooth, and then I make my and then the different protein is what's going to give it the different flavors. So like we do banana, we do strawberry, we have this unicorn flavor that tastes like cake. We do chocolate chip, and so if you would make a batch over the weekend, and then you just kind of store them in a Ziploc bag, and then you can have them all week long for breakfast in the morning, and it's really quickly. When I used to take Brendan to school and stuff, I would take one with me and just heat it up for him, and he'd have it on the drive to school, and that was his breakfast, and I know it was filling and it was healthy, and so that's an idea for you guys if you don't have too much time to make breakfast. So there's that.
For me, I'm having a hard time finding like healthy choices because I eat breakfast every day. I love breakfast, but I eat like a burrito, or I eat like chilaquiles, so I'm trying to find how to make the portion smaller to what we eat for breakfast at home.
Yeah, and that's hard if you're doing it with a whole family, especially a family that likes, I love all that kind of stuff. But if you're, I don't know, see if they would be willing to, switch over. Tell them to try it for a week just to see how they feel. Because you could still do the tortillas; they just have to be, the corn tortillas. You still do the beans. You still do the beans and
But what
eggs.
about like the flour tortilla? Like, is that too big?
You do flour.
You see, that's the thing. Like a burrito is like a flour tortilla. Like it's hard. Even right now, we made dinner, and my mom's like, "Oh, I'm gonna save this chile because I can use it for chilaquiles tomorrow." And I'm like, okay.
Someone told me that they have cauliflower tortillas, but I've never had them, so I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, maybe.
I think maybe some Sprouts or some other place, but I've never tried them.
Oh, that would be something to try.
Okay, well, I'll keep thinking. I'll let you guys know what I find.
All right. Anybody else need help with making their breakfast choices? No?
Yeah,
Okay.
could
Where
you
would
just-
Oh, go ahead, Diane.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to go back to the fats slide. Thank you.
Well, we're not using these for breakfast though. 'cause
No. But I just wanted a
Oh.
picture of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and this was actually my question. My son eats peanut butter like it's going out of style, but he hasn't ventured. He's 3. He hasn't ventured too much into meat yet. So I just wanted to kind of see where peanut butter would fall in all of this.
Yeah, peanut butter is a fat. And if you look at the nutrition content on all of these, so every food is not going to be like solely fat. It's going to have some protein, some carbs. But if it made it to this list of the fats, it's because it has more fat than it does carbs or protein. So like peanut butter is a pretty decent source of protein also. It just has more fat than it does protein. If that makes sense.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Okay. So what I want to do next is, can I write on this? Oh, I can write on this. Annotate. Let's try this, shall we? We're gonna do. Oh, look at that. Let's change color. Okay, we're gonna do this one, this one, this one. I don't even know if I can erase all this. We're gonna focus on these right here. So for Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, we're gonna do the morning snack and the afternoon snack. Okay. The reason I like to do it this way is so that we can just all be looking at the protein and fats we want to combine. And I like starting on the low carb days because those are a little bit harder. High carb days go a lot faster. Okay. So can I just erase? Clear all drawings? Ha! Look at that. Okay. So let's go ahead and. This is nifty. Sorry guys, I'm learning all this cool stuff. Okay. So we're again gonna do the snacks for our low carb days. Our snacks for the low carb days have a protein and a fat. I'm gonna give you things that I do, and then you guys can come up with your own. Okay. So snacks that I like on my low carb days are a protein shake with a cheese stick, cheese stick here, or I'll do a protein shake with some almonds, or I'll do cottage cheese with almond butter. That's my favorite. Or you can do cottage cheese with pecans. You can do cottage cheese with peanut butter. I find that to do the Greek yogurt, because it's plain on fat, I can't do it on my low carb days. I have to combine it with like grapes or apples. I just can't. I don't like the taste of it. But cottage cheese I love, and so I use that a lot, and mainly with almond butter. Other things you can do is like deli turkey with a cheese stick. You could do tuna and hard-boiled eggs. You could do tuna with mayonnaise. You could do deli turkey with avocado spices. So those are different combinations that I would use. But again, to make yours, you're going to take one from this list and one from this list. So if you want to share some of the things you're writing down, or if you have questions, let me know. Also, let me know if you need more time. can also do like tuna with olives. I'm a type of person that can do the same thing every day, all day. So I don't get as creative. Some people, they get real creative.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For fats, it says fruit under dressings. What or like what is it? Or like, oh, okay, no, fruit is avocado or olives. Oh, there. I didn't see it.
Yeah, so
Just kidding,
everything,
I'm so sorry.
everything in bold is the category, and then it falls under. I also want to mention one thing real quick. You see these, how 1 ounce, 2 tablespoons? Please understand that those serving sizes are for approximately 100 calories. Now check this out. If you go here and you do 100 calories for every one, that's 1,000 calories for the day. If you're only eating 1,000 calories for the day, you're going to starve. You're not going to feel very good, and it's not going to help you at all. So those portion sizes are for 100 calories, but you need to do a little bit more. You have to do a little bit more, or else you're going to be very, very hungry and very angry, and you're not going to like me very much because I told you how to do this. So make
So for example, like a Greek yogurt, it's like the whole thing, the little cup instead of just 3/4 of a cup. That would be good.
It is perfectly, yes. And then if you're male or if you're heavier, you're also going to have to eat a little bit more until you drop the weight, because you're going to starve. You're not going to feel very good, and you're not going to be very you're not going to be able to exercise very well. You're just not going to function very well. So if you took pictures, that means if you follow this, and if you look at the category, it'll say cups or scoop or ounces. So it tells you in the category how much of or what measurement to use. Okay, is everybody done with their snacks?
Yes.
So
Or at least I am.
with that. So
Oh, I was just gonna say, the sardines are just the canned ones, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, those are. I mean, I really love sardines, so it's kind of weird.
I can't even do that because I've never tasted them. So
Oh, they're so good.
And I always tell Brendan, don't you dare make faces at food. And I don't know where he gets it from. Okay, so now we're gonna do. Oh no, why didn't I draw this? Okay, now we're gonna focus on. Well, that did not. How did I do it last time? Undo. It seemed so easy last time. Oh, select? No. Draw? No. This? Yeah. Ah, there we go. So now we're gonna do lunch and dinner on our low. Oops, I did that wrong. Here we go. We're doing lunches and dinners on our low carb days. We're almost done with the. Oh, I did it again. We're almost done with the not so fun part. And then comes the. Okay, so we're gonna fill in these 6 on our thingy, on our menu. Okay, so now we're combining a protein with a fat again, but I'm weird in that I need breakfast foods for breakfast, I need lunch foods for lunch, and I need dinner. If you can have eggs at any time of the day the way Brennan can, I mean, feel free. But here's some of the stuff that I do. So for lunches and dinners, that's when I have like tilapia and avocado, or I'll do chicken with avocado, or I'll do chicken and cheese, or I'll do roast beef and cheese. And those are my 2 main fats that I use, are going to be the cheese and the avocado for lunches and dinners. Now you can get fancier and do like the olives, or do like pecan crusted salmon. And then also remember that for this lunch and dinner, even on your low carb days, you can add any of these that are free. So any of these free ones right here, because remember this is my family cellulose and it doesn't really add to your carb intake. You can do any of this added to your lunches and dinners for your low carb days. So like you could do spinach, salmon, and that pecan crusted salmon, or you could do like tilapia with some mushrooms and and avocado, or you can do like broccoli or asparagus with some type of fish and avocado. Just try to make sure though that you do put a fat in there. So it's great that you have like your veggies and your meat, but you need a fat. So throw some mayonnaise on something, or the avocado. Like I say, avocado and the cheese are my go-to all the time. And so with that, go ahead and fill out your lunches and dinners on your low carb days.
And you said for these we're also having they have to be more, correct?
On everything. So every single one that it tells you like 2.5 ounces will be 100 calories. So I would go anywhere from 3 to 3.5 ounces. But again, this is if you want to measure everything out. Again, I've trained over 100 people doing this, and you don't have to weigh everything out. You can kind of just look at your hand to get the portion size of it and go that way. You should not be hungry. At first, it could be more of a mental thing because your mind thinks, oh, I'm on a diet, and it freaks out because the mind does that. But you shouldn't be hungry because you're eating every 3 hours. Like when I carb cycle and I go strict, every time I start feeling hungry, my phone goes off because it's time to eat. And I'll show you guys little tips of like adding reminders to your phone so that it reminds you, hey, it's time to eat, it's time to eat. You should not be hungry. You shouldn't feel weak. You shouldn't. So make sure you're eating enough, because if you're not eating enough, it defeats the purpose. So
Okay,
you just
cool.
don't have to waste the fat. If you want to do like the scoops and stuff in the cups, that's fine too. But again, just approximate. Don't overeat, of course. That's my problem. Is I just love food so much, and I just want to eat all of it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So any questions? So far, so good. All right. So now I'm going to move on, and we're going to start doing the snacks for your high carb days. So these go much faster and much easier because we almost have more to choose from too. So we're going to be doing these, and these. Okay. So our Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, we're going to combine a protein with a carb. So let me give you some ideas of what I do, and then you guys can follow or come up with your own stuff. But for snacks, that's where I like the Greek yogurt with grapes. That's my favorite. Or cottage cheese and papaya, cottage cheese and apples, deli turkey wrapped up in a tortilla. You can do like a tuna salad with celery and tomatoes. You can do, this is where you can throw in a sandwich, like a turkey sandwich, because you can throw in your bread, your whole wheat bread. You can do a protein shake and an apple. You can do a protein shake and a banana. You can do, I think those are my snacks. So let me put the carbs back on because we haven't seen those in a while. So fruits, any of your fruits with a protein shake, or any of your fruits with some cottage cheese or Greek yogurt. You could also do like lentejas with, but you need the hard part is that beans and lentils, you kind of want them as a protein, but it's more of a carb. So those are a little bit more difficult. But you can do like cereal and a protein shake. You can do some oatmeal and a protein shake. So you can do things like that. I think we lost Diane. Oh, I think she was gonna go to someone's master's.
Yeah, she put in the group chat that she had to go for the graduation.
We're almost there.
I have one question, another one. Do you think you could send us your calendar later just to have a reference of
Actually,
if we're doing it properly?
let me write this down. I had a carb cycling group. I'm gonna add you to that,
Okay.
and then you can see a bunch of people would put their different things on there. And if you ever want me to check yours, I did this for so many people. I can look through your menu in like 30 seconds and tell you, no, this was supposed to be carb. I could just go through it real quick and make sure you put everything where it's supposed to be. That's not a problem. You just
Thank
send
you.
me a picture of it, put it on your chat.
Thank you.
All right, so finally, we do lunches and dinners. And again, we're combining a protein and a carb. So I want to give you some of the things that I do. And this is where, again, it's really easy because it's any kind of, well, for me, it's easy because I do the meats, right? Or the fish. So I do either, and I use all my meal preps, right? So we do roast beef, we do chicken, we do turkey patties. What else do I have? Salmon and shrimp and tilapia and pork. So I add all of those and I combine it with either brown rice or whole grain pasta or sweet potatoes, or we do roasted red potatoes, or any kind of veggies. And remember, you can add a third serving of your green beans or any of your greens to that as well. And so while you guys are putting that together, the last thing I want to go over, well, a couple things. In the book, it describes how you should carb cycle for 3 weeks. But again, your body is super smart, super amazing. It'll adjust in one or plateau. So it's highly recommended that on the 4th week, stop cycling your carbs and you just eat a protein and carb at every meal. So you don't cycle them anymore. And it's called a slingshot. So you still want to continue watching your portion sizes and you still want to eat every 3 hours, but you don't want to cycle anymore. You just want to eat a protein and carb in every meal. And then on the 5th week, go back to cycling and you should notice a weight drop again. And then here are some tips and tricks. I have timers on my phone, so I remember to eat every 3 hours, but I often forget, I get too busy. And here's so like Carla, we're already friends. But Jessica, everybody's already gone. If anybody else wants to friend me. And then let me know if you want me to add you to this group. And so a lot of people would post their plans and stuff. I know people don't like to get weighed. I like to weigh myself because I like to know where I'm at, especially when I know I'm gaining a little weight to remind myself, hey, watch it. If you're like me and you just love to eat, it's a good idea to brush your teeth after each meal because then you're not going to want to eat after you just brush your teeth. It's also, I've heard, to eat like a peppermint candy, like a mint, and it'll stop the craving. And it's a big thing, self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're like, I've tried everything and nothing works, so it's not going to work. I want you to think positively. And it works. It's worked for so many people. It's pretty crazy how well it works. And then for those of you that are left, if you want to take a quiz, you can take a quiz. Let's see how much you guys think.